Hi, good morning children. Can you remember where we stopped last class? Yes, it was human development report and public facilities, etc. So, from the lesson economics lesson 1 development, we have to complete one more topic, that is sustainability of development. Sustainability of development. What is the topic? Sustainability of development. Dear children, before that we have to recall what is sustainable development. Already we studied in our geography, sustainable development means balancing the need to use resources and also conserve them for future generation. That is known as sustainable development. We have to fulfill our present needs and also we have to conserve these resources for the future purposes also. Without harming the resources, we have to sustain development, right. So, my dear children, here what is sustainability of development? You know, before that I have to tell you one quoting. That is, we have not inherited the world from our forefathers. We have borrowed it from our children. Understood? That means we have not inherited the world from our forefathers. We have borrowed it from our children. You know that it is not get, or these resources are not our inheritance, or not we get it not by our inheritance. പാരമ്പര്യ സ്വത്തവകാശം അല്ലെങ്കിൽ പാരമ്പര്യമായി നമുക്ക് കിട്ടിയതല്ല. We borrowed it from our children, coming generation, that here it is meant children. So, we borrowed from our children. So, it is our duty to return back, to give back. Okay. So, that is why it is saying that we have to take care while we are handling the resources. So, how it is possible this is sustainable development? What are the problems of sustainability of development? That all we can discuss in this portion. Okay. And since the second half of the 20th century, a number of scientists have been warning that the present type level of development are not sustainable. Why they that means said such a way? Because there were many problems, there were many reasons are there. The scientists understood that the present level and the present type of developments are going on. Countries developing, when we are checking, that means when we are observing 20 years back or 30 years back, we can understand that more than that now at present we developed a lot. But with that, the depletion of the resources, it is happened. So, we have to stop it. That is, it is only possible with the sustainable development. And to prove it, we can take a few examples. That means, first example, the level of underground water. The scientist suggested or scientist opinion or they warning that present type and level of development are not sustainable. How can we prove it? One of the most important example, through example we can prove it. When you are observing your page number 14, one yellow box is there. There you can see a topic, groundwater in India. Example 1, groundwater in India. While you are reading, you can understand what is the realities in related with the underground level of water. You know that recent evidence suggests that it is under serious threat in India. What? Underground level of water, it is a serious threat in India because of a overuse in many parts of the country. Over exploitation, overuse, everything it is going on. That is the reason, because of this threat to this natural resource. Some areas the water level is declining 4 meters during the past 20 years. Very strange it is, am I right? That means last 20 years scientists observed that the level of underground water, it is going down. That means declining. How? 4 meters, 4 meter ഓളം ഭൂഗർഭജലത്തിൻ്റെ അളവ് താഴ്ന്നുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നു, ലെവൽ താഴ്ന്നുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നു. From these we have to understand the resource depletion is happening. Underground water resource, it is depletion or the declining. From this it is nearly, we can understand that 1/3 of the country is overuse or overusing their groundwater reserves. Means 1/3 of the country they are overusing underground level of water. That is why the 4 meters of the underground water, it is declining. And in another 25 years, that means according to scientists they are saying that in another 25 years 60% of the country will do it. That means this will happen, underground level will decline again and again. So what will be the condition? We cannot imagine that what will be the condition if there is no water availability. The underground water is declining continuously, means it will affect all the activities, it will affect the lives on earth. Am I right? Dear children, this overuse of water we can see in which are the places. If it this overuse it is going on more, because agriculturally intensive areas or agriculturally prosperous areas we can see this depletion of the underground level of water. Which are the areas? Yes, it is Punjab, Western UP, Uttar Pradesh, and rocky plateau regions and some coastal areas also. Rapidly or speedily this growing urban area or urban centers also, this depletion of the water is happening. Why? Because these areas overuse of this water resources is going on. Agriculturally intensive areas, you know that agriculturists or farmers, they are using these resources again and again, overusing for their activities. And also for rapidly growing urban centers also, more density of the population will be there. So the water is using or overuses is going on. And also it is rocky plateau regions also, overuse means there is a water scarcity will be there, so they are overusing, or it is more exploitation or a use of water, it is happening. And as in the case of crops and plants, we can take another we can go in another one area. That means when we are thinking in case of the crops and plants, it will replenish. Sure, it will replenish, but if the consumption is more than the speed of replenishing, that is a threat to the resources. There is a belief is there. It is saying that crops, plants, they can replenish. But you just imagine that the use it is or the consumption is more than that of the replenishing rate, what will happen? ഉപയോഗത്തിൻ്റെ അളവ് വളരെ ഇരട്ടിയിലധികമാകുകയും അവ റീപ്ലെനിഷ് ചെയ്യുന്നതിൻ്റെ സ്പീഡ് കുറയുകയും ചെയ്താൽ ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് എ ഗ്രേറ്റ് ത്രെറ്റ്. ആം ഐ റൈറ്റ്? യെസ്. സോ മൈ ഡിയർ ചിൽഡ്രൻ, വി ക്യാൻ ടേക്ക് this example, one of the most important example, this underground level of water. Means why it is saying that sustainability of a development is one of the most important thing the country have to follow. So, from the example of underground water, you understood that what is the condition of this, which are the areas it is more overuse is going on, why those areas they are using more, and this all we discussed. Okay. My dear children, next we can take an example of water is a renewable resources, it is okay. But when we are taking an example of a non-renewable resource, for example, what is the speciality of these resources? Before that we can discuss, before taking an example, what are the specialities of a non-renewable resources? Yes, it is, it will exhaust after years of use. And we have fixed stock. It will not replenish again. There is a fixed stock is there. And once it finished means it is finished. Means it will take millions of years to replenish again. So, it is not that means proportion with the lifespan of human beings on earth. That is why that is known as a non-renewable resources. We cannot use presently. It will take millions of years to replenish again. So, the present consumption is not possible. That is why we can see that so we have to find any other substitute for these resources. For example, you know that when we are taking an example of a crude oil, you can understand that once it finished means it will not reproduce or replenish again. It will take millions of years. And also, but over the time, and that also will exhaust. That means if one non-renewable resource it finished, we have to find out another one substitute. മറ്റൊന്ന് നമ്മൾ തിരഞ്ഞുപിടിക്കേണ്ടിയിരിക്കുന്നു, കണ്ടുപിടിക്കേണ്ടിയിരിക്കുന്നു. That also will exhaust after few years. Am I right? So, we can take example of a crude oil. Everyone listen your page number 15. You can see that one box is there. One box you can see. Okay. Here we can take three countries, three group of countries, that is Middle East countries and USA. After that world, not countries, it is three sections of the world, or first Middle East countries, then USA, after that the world as a whole. We can discuss it. Okay. So, my dear children, when we are looking that it is reserves, it is a region or a country, region or country. Here it is reserves. Next it is number of years. Dear children, in Middle East countries, you can see that the reserves according to 2013, the reserves it is saying that 808.5 thousand million barrels. 1000 million barrels. Got it? In Middle East countries, the total reserves according to the census of, according to the data related with the 2013, 808.5 thousand million barrels is the reserves. How many years it will exist, or we can use it, means 78.1 month. 78 years, 1 month we can use this. Got it? And when we are taking USA, United States of America, we can see that 44.2 thousand million barrels reserves are there in United States of America. 44.2 thousand million barrels. How many years it will exist? 12 years. 12 plus 12.1. also, my dear children, the world as a whole, it is 1687.9 thousand million barrels, the world as a whole. How many years it will be? 53.3. Dear children, world as a whole, 1687.9 thousand million barrels of a crude oil is there. World as a whole. How many years it will exist? Reserves are there? 53 years. 53.3 years are there. These are the realities. So, from this we have to understand one thing. You know that the table gives an estimate of a reserves of a crude oil. That means more important, it also tells us how many years the stock of a crude oil will be there. And also the reserves would last only 53 years more. 53 വർഷം കൂടി മാത്രമേ ലോകം ഇങ്ങനെ മുന്നോട്ട് നീങ്ങാൻ പറ്റുള്ളൂ. After that, what? That is a great question mark in front of us. Okay, and this is for the world as a whole, 53 years. However, different countries face different situations. You know, countries like India depend on abroad, that means foreign countries of their own or abroad, because they do not have enough reserves for India. And also, if the prices of these crude oil it is increasing, it is a great difficulty or burden for these countries. And also, there are countries like USA, United States of America. What will happen? Their reserves only 12 years. It is saying that, my dear children, they are economically great. USA, great economic power. You know that which have low reserves and hence want secure all oil through military or economic power. You know that they are economically well developed nations. If their reserves it is finished, means what they will do? Not like India. They will attack the other countries where there are reserves are there. They will use their economic power, military power, attack other countries to fulfill their needs. That is such a type of a country is United States of America. So, world as a whole it is a 53 years only. From this we have to understand it is a great threat in front of us while we are not at all keeping the development in a sustainable way. It is a great difficulty in front of us. So, from these two examples you understood what is sustainability of a development. Means with the limited resources we have to consume, we can consume or we can use it. Consumption is needed, but we have to care for the next generation. Don't overuse, don't exploit. We can fulfill our needs, don't misuse it. Okay, renewable resources they may replenish again, but the consumption is speeder than the replenishing situation or replenishing activity. It is also great problem. In case of non-renewable resources, if the resources it is finished means it will never replenish. So, the world will be in a stagnant position. Bhumi, Bhugolam, Ninnu Pogum. You know that what is the importance of the crude oil, the economic development of a nation. So, you know that if the reserves it is finishing, the world will be in a stagnant position. So, my dear children, as a part of this topic, we have to understand a value point also. Use the resources carefully, don't misuse it, don't overuse it. We have to keep it for the next generation because we borrowed from our coming future generation or children. It is not got by our inheritance or law of inheritance. പാരമ്പര്യമായി നമുക്ക് ലഭിച്ചതല്ല, നമ്മൾ കടം വാങ്ങിയതാണ്. So, we have to return it back. I think you got it, my dear children. And also in this here we completing or concluding our lesson. In general, the question of a development or a progress is a perennial. At all times, as a number of a society and individuals, we need to ask where we want to go, what we wish to become and what our goals are. So, the debate on a development continues. You know what type of a development is needed, what was the or what we wish, നമ്മൾ എന്താഗ്രഹിക്കുന്നു, എങ്ങനെയുള്ള വികസനമാണ്, these all it is a questions in front of us, because these are the case of these are the situations of resources. So consequences of environmental degradation, do not respect national or state boundaries. One resources, it is a depletion or a depletion of the natural resources, depletion of this crude oil or a non-renewable resources. It is not limited with one boundary. That means we all are under one umbrella universe. So everyone should take care of it. It is not, the problem will not limit with our limit with our own India or our Kerala. It is affected by the country, the world as a whole. So that is why it is saying that the consequences of environmental degradation do not respect national or a state boundary. This issue is no longer region or a nation specific. Our future is linked together. We are bounded together, linked together. Got it? So my dear children, sustainability of a development is comparatively a new area of a knowledge in which the scientists, economists, philosophers and other social scientists are working together. With that, the students and the coming future generation also understood the importance of the resources, renewable resources and non-renewable resources. My dear children, so we finished our economics lesson 1 development. I think you got it. Okay. So here back side you can see the exercise, all the one word answers you have to find out and tick it in your textbook itself, and find out the long answers and its answers, questions and its answers, and selected questions means if I given these questions you don't want to repeat in your notebook. If I that means which questions I didn't give from this area, that you have to find out the answers and write down in your notebook also. Okay, dear children. So we will meet again next class. Okay, thank you.